With over 35 years of working as Chartered Accountant with the ICA Ghana, Chartered Tax Consultant, CIT Ghana, he is also worked as the Deputy Commissioner of Ghana Revenue Authority. He is presently living his retirement life working as a farmer. He is the CEO of Sanders Group of Companies. He has hotels, rentals, and farm. Today, we find ourselves in Sanders Farm. I'm sure you're wondering, what is anyone doing in an office space? Today, I'm not in the bush. I'm enjoying air conditioning. My guest is Mr. Alex Asamoah Bonting. We are here to hear his story, the driving force, the motivation. He's made all the money. He's even worked in Scenario with the government. Why would he be stressing working as a farmer? Thank you very much, Mr. Asamoah Bonting.
You're welcome.
For welcoming us to your office.
Thank you too for coming.
It's such a privilege and I'm most grateful.
You're welcome.
I'm sure my youth who are watching it today will be filled with smile and motivated to do something for themselves today. My first question, why decide to venture into agriculture after retirement?
Thank you. And I was motivated into farming just to create the environment for even the youth in the first place and to get employment, especially for my town folks, the youth in my town. This is a mining area, and most of them, because they don't have work doing, they rather go into mining with its applications and so on and so forth. So I decided that no, let me move into farming so that in the first place I'll get employment for the youth over here, and then two, to motivate them to know that if they venture into farming, eventually they will succeed, and they need that patience to go through it. Looking at somebody like me and where I reached, if I move into farming, I'm sure it will motivate my guys or the youth in the town to also follow suit and get something doing. That is my first or second motivation. Apart from that, you know, mostly when you go on retirement, you'll be thinking, what am I going to do? Am I going to stay going on contract and so on and so forth? I decided not to go into any contract. I decided not to go into consultancy again, even though I had a lot of work outside the country and in the country. I decided to move in here because on retirement, you still have to use your brains.
Yes.
So I decided to venture into agri, and for that matter, into poultry specifically, so that I will be able to use my brains. This is an entirely new area. I have to learn, I have to research, I have to be on the internet, reading, by using my brain so that my brains will be very active.
Okay.
These are some few motivations that drove me into farming, and for that matter, poultry.
Right. Let's go through your educational background. Were you born here?
And you know, I'm a fully fledged Achim guy from Achim Epraman here.
Okay.
Meaning that I was born here. I schooled elementary school here. I followed up to secondary school in Odan, not quite far from here, before I moved into University of Ghana.
Okay. All right. What is the land size of your farm?
Hey. My land size will be, let me say, 22 acres.
22 acres.
Yes.
And your farm capacity is over 16,840.
Right.
With all the troubles we have had in poultry sector, or you know here, why decide still to go into poultry?
And you know, I don't see much challenge in poultry or the problems that we've been mentioned, except maybe last year. We all know the global economy and so on and so forth. It's only last year that we had some challenges with respect to feed and other things, medications, everything went up.
Okay.
But in general, if you manage the farm very well and you go through the processes and the procedures well, I see no reason why you shouldn't make it.
Okay. Poultry farming.
Right.
You need to establish structure.
Yes.
Before you can do your recruitment and moving in your bird.
Right.
let's look at the investment, because per the structure I see looks more modern. Let's look at the investment that went into putting up these modern facilities.
Right. You mean in terms of financing?
Exactly.
Yes. I had that thing in mind years ago to be in farming when I retired. So I started saving. My retirement packages, I had to channel it into this place. And it was huge amount of money. My provident fund, when I was at work and people were recouping their monies here and there, I decided to keep it. And thanks to my former boss, Mr. George Blanston, I have to mention his name, said, Alex, please don't go for this money. Wait until your retirement time. And through when the time came and I went on retirement and I went to claim my money, it was huge. So I had to add that to the monies that I had. So from my daily savings and my provident fund and my staff savings and my retirement package, SNATs and everything, I channeled them direct into this project.
Okay. All right. The beds that you actually wear here,
right,
the day old,
right,
where do you get them from?
I get them from Netherlands.
Okay. When they arrive at the airport,
right,
how much is one sold to you?
20 Ghana cedis at the moment.
20
for
presently?
One chick, yes.
It's going for 20 cedis?
Yes.
Okay. After paying for the beds, what means of transport do you move the beds from the airport to the farm?
Earlier we had a small cargo truck, but we had to sell it and channel that into the farm again. But we had to go and rent vehicle to cut the beds from the airport to the farm.
Okay. What time of the day is suitable for transporting birds to your farm?
Normally at dawn, between, let me say, 1 a.m. and 6 a.m. The weather will be very cool.
Okay.
And they wouldn't go into much stress. The traffic in town and on the road will not be all that much. So they will feel comfortable and they won't stress so much.
Okay. So when the birds arrived, what process do you take them through?
Before even you think of importing, you have to have a brooding house.
Okay.
A house where you will keep the day-old chicks entirely in it, manage them until they move into grower stage where you'll be able to separate them. Right. So you have to keep them in a brooding house.
Okay. So how long would they be in the brooding house for before you take them to a grower room?
The birds will have to be in the brooding house for about 8 weeks. 8 weeks. Now you move them. When they move into grower stage, you move them into each pen outside the brooding house. Okay.
At that
between
stage,
5 and 8 weeks, you can move them.
At that stage, do you feed them?
Yes, from day 2, you have to feed them.
Okay.
Magic feed. Right. You go to chick starter, depending upon the number of weeks that you want them to be in that zone. Then from 5th to 8th week, or 5th to about 17 weeks, you can give them grower feed. Okay. So you start with chick starter, then you move to grower, and then when they start laying to pre-laying, then you start giving them pre-laying feed. That will be layer 1, up to 52 weeks before you move them to layer 2. So that is the process. Right. And you have to go through the management guide that we have, depending upon the farm. But in general, where you get the birds from, they'll give you management guide. You need to follow it if you want your birds to be active and produce well for you. So medications, vaccinations, and so on and so forth must be done rigorously and on time. Okay. Timeously.
So what time in between do you give these vaccinations and medications?
It depends. Weekly you have to, because the guide is there to to prompt you
Okay.
what you should do at
Right.
each time.
Okay.
You have to vaccinate them, Newcastle, Gumboro, Lasota, and a whole lot of, you have to deworm them in the process. You have to give them vitamins. So these are the kind of medications and vaccinations that you have to give them.
So in all this process, at what stage do they start giving you the eggs?
Birds, generally or on average, they start from 18th week or latest 21 weeks. They will start laying eggs.
Okay.
And they may lay up to about 72 weeks before they become spent layers.
Okay. So
And at each stage, from the 18th or 21, on average you will get it 21, but some start from 18 weeks.
Right.
And mostly on average 21 weeks they should start laying. And then they can lay up to about 72 weeks for you.
okay. So how long do these birds keep laying for before you consider them as old?
Yeah, like I said, either before 72 weeks or up to 72 weeks.
All right.
Or when you realize that the average laying rate is gone down, you realize that your cost is going up against your sales.
Okay.
Then you think of laying them.
Are you able to tell how much you spend on feed?
Feed should be about, in my case,
Yeah.
or in general.
No, in your case.
In
the
my
standard
case,
farm.
on average, feed cost in relation to production will be 70%.
Okay.
Yes. The cost, feed cost in relation to income that you get is 70%.
Okay. Is your focus on selling eggs, or you sell eggs and meat?
My focus is on producing and selling eggs. Producing eggs and selling eggs.
What happens to the birds when they are old?
When they are older, I sell them. But that is not the main focus. The main focus is the egg.
The egg.
Yes.
All right. In that case, how much does an egg cost presently, averagely?
At the moment, I sell my egg a crate for 42 Ghana cedis.
42 cedis
Yes.
per crate.
Yes.
Who are your customers?
My customers are around this district. I don't move beyond the district because I don't even have the required market. I'm not able to even supply
The
my
market
customers
out there.
exactly
Okay.
within the district.
Right. So do they usually come, or you move to go and supply?
For now, they come here for their supplies, but we are thinking of serving them on their door come middle of this year.
Averagely, what's your monthly sales of eggs?
My monthly sales of egg, I will tell you, will be about 400 to 400 crates a day.
400 crates.
Yes.
Times
Because as soon as
42
I produce,
cities.
they go off.
Okay.
We have the customers, we have grouped them. So they come in groups. Monday, we have people coming up to Saturday. So as soon as we produce, we sell.
I'll take you back a bit. About the feed, do you have your own farm where you have maize, millets, and other things to process your feed, or you buy from the open
No,
market?
we buy from the open market. We
How-
buy it from, we buy the prepared feed from the market.
How are you dealing with the price instability as a poultry farmer?
You see, one thing is that as a poultry farmer, as they increase the feed, you will not be able to increase your egg price based on the percentage increment in feed, because you'll be thrown out of the market.
Right.
Assuming they increase it by 20%, you can't increase your prices by 20%. The best that you can do is to increase it by a small margin, about less, maybe a cedi to your price. If you go beyond that, you'll be thrown out of the market.
Okay. What is your staff strength?
I have 8 laborers, or eight farm workers. I won't call them laborers. They are 8 farm workers at the moment.
What has been your challenge ever since, for these past 5 years you've been working as a poultry farmer?
Generally here, the challenge has been the cost of the feed. That is one aspect of it. the cost of medications, vaccines, and so on and so forth. Even the crates that we use, we don't take crates, we sell crates alongside the egg. So it's built in the price. So we have to buy the empty crate also from the market to sell them. You can also know the cost of those the crates. So both inputs, other inputs and feed cost has been a major challenge because it's too high. We've got to manage it. So that has been one. And then staff.
Okay.
You see, in this industry, poultry farm and I think other farms, the labor turnover is very high because the kind of staff that you get to assist you to manage the farm, they are not up to that level. So as soon as they come, they work for some few days, and then before we realize they are gone.
Okay.
Yeah. So the labor turnover in this industry is very high.
Okay.
Not that you don't take good care of them, but they stay for some time, and then before you realize they are gone, they want to explore.
Have you experienced mortalities with your birds? You know, there's this annual outbreak that affects poultry farms. Have you experienced any of these outbreaks in your farm in these 5 years?
No, not yet. Not yet. We haven't. Like I told you, if you follow rigorously the treatment guide,
Okay.
you will not go through much mortality. You can't say that you won't get mortality in your farm. You will definitely get mortality in your farm, even right from the day old chicks arrival. But if you are able to manage them well, if you are able to go through the management guide that you've been given, that is medication, vaccination, the water that you give them, treatment of the farm itself, and so on and so forth, you will be able to reduce the mortality rate. We don't have much mortality. I haven't experienced so much mortality in my farm here.
Okay. You mentioned you sell the crate, or the crate price is included.
It's built in.
Do you
price.
use the paper crate,
Yes.
or the plastic?
We have the plastic to pick the eggs from the pens.
Okay.
But when we are selling, we sell
transfer
them,
to the
we
paper one.
transfer them to the paper one.
Okay. A lot of the reasons why farms are not sustainable has to do with poor records, and then yes, records contain production costs, sales, and everything. Your background is chartered accountant, chartered tax consultant. Take me through your regular record keeping and how relevant or important is that to your business or to any farmer?
Okay, thank you. You see, in every endeavor, record keeping is very, very important. I don't take the business as Asamoah-Bontey. When you mentioned the name, you said Sanders Farms.
Yes.
So Asamoah-Bontey is quite distinct from Sanders Farms. Apart from the capital that we injected into the business, we don't have that much interest in the business because the business is a standalone. Okay. It's an artificial person. It can seal and be sealed. So we try to keep records of everything to the extent that even if I need egg for my own consumption, I pay for it.
Okay.
Yes, so we keep daily records on one, the feed that we buy, the feed that we use daily. If you like, I can show you the copies.
Right.
We keep records of production daily, grouping them into good ones, grouping them into cracks, and so on and so forth. Then whichever we sell at any point in time, we keep records on our sales. At the end of the day, we reconcile everything. Medications, vaccinations, we record everything. So at the end of the month, we prepare our monthly accounts to show the profit that we got from it. Even when we sell our manure, we include that also in the accounting.
Is poultry farming profitable?
Yes.
How
In
do
a
you
big
defend
yes.
this? Because there are a lot of farmers out there who are complaining.
Yeah, I've already told you that if you treat it as a personal business, you will not see your way through. But if you treat it as distinct from you, the owner, that is where you will see the real profit that you will get from the business. Most people just pick the eggs. Maybe they will dash, or they just go and eat. They won't even record it. When they sell and they get the monies, they use the monies every now and then for their personal good. Right. We don't do that in Sundays farms, no.
But you understand, I'm CEO. I have to spend my money.
No, my interest as a CEO is a different thing altogether. I am more or less a worker here, being an executive director. The business will have to pay me my monthly salary. I spend time here. The whole day I'm here. I'm also working as any other staff. So the business will have to pay me. If I pick, that's what I told you, if I pick even one egg, just a single egg, I have to account for it. So it's being treated as a real business, not just a personal business.
You know, Yara, those of you out there who are treating your farms like, I don't know how to put it, it's my money. So I take, I spend, you will not survive. Is your business registered? Sanders Farms.
Yes.
Do you have a business account?
I have.
Why did you do all this? Because a lot of the farms are visited. Do you have a farm name? No. Have you registered a farm? No. Do you have an account for the farm? No. Why should I take these things serious and important? How does it help my growth?
Yes, keeping an account, as I've told you earlier, and managing it through the bank will enable you have some savings, so that when the money comes to you, you will not spend it anyhow. So like I said, every week, every sales that we make, it goes through the bank direct. So if we are going to buy feed, I only issue checks and sign, and it goes straight to the person. So at any point in time, you are able to know exactly what you are doing.
Mr. Samuel Bontin, have you had any regrets as a farmer?
Not as we speak. I'm very happy being a farmer. I'm enjoying it, and I know I'll still enjoy it until maybe I retire from the farming and rest small.
How many children do you have?
I have 2 children.
Does any of them have interest in what you do?
Yes, I realized one of them, a medical officer, started it in a way, but I had to limit her a bit to enable her concentrate on her profession. And if maybe future years she decides to move in, fine. But for now, I have restricted them. But they visit, they come through, I take them through whatever we are doing, everything that we are doing, because it's more of a family business. So like I said, even the accounting, every year I prepare accounts, I discuss with the family, and I show them how things are done within this farm that we are doing, so that in future, if any of them decide to take control of it, it will be easier for the person.
Okay. We are about to wrap up our interview.
Right.
But my last 2 questions will be, how do you think stakeholders, which includes government, how should they structure agriculture in Ghana to encourage young people to be more interested and attracted to go into farming?
So one interesting thing is exactly what you are doing. I think you are leading the way now. For some years now, you see the youth, they have been thinking that farming, you need to have the cutlass. Why am I going to poultry? To some extent that if you even employ staff, especially JSS, why am I going to say it in tree? And those things. You see, but I try to encourage them that it is business. You have to learn it from down. I move in there, I take part in everything that they are doing. You see, so from what you are doing now, I think it will send a message across for the youth and even the government that we should try and encourage farming, not only poultry farm, any other farm. Look, I have cocoa farms.
Okay.
Yes, I have plantain farms.
Right.
I have some farms, and a great man is aware of it. I won the district poultry farmer, best poultry farmer in 2019.
Wow.
2020, I was the 2nd overall best farmer in the district.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So you can
I
see.
don't have anything. I just have to
You can see those things that when we get back there,
Right.
outside the main there. So we need to encourage the youth, especially the youth. You just can't move to Accra or any other regional capitals searching for jobs that may not be in existence.
Okay.
If they emulate what we have done here, they will be able to, on a small basis. You don't need huge capital to start business. You don't need huge capital to start farming like this. With a small structure and a small capital, you should be able to build up. And then gradually, if only you manage things well, if only the proceeds that you get at the end of the day will not go into your pocket, you'll be able to grow. The government too should encourage maybe loans, small loans, like you are doing. Gather the youth, let people who have gone through this explain to the youth on a forum, so that they will appreciate the need for them to move into farming. I think that is what we need to do.
Should people always go into farming during retirement age?
No. You see, we didn't see it on time. Okay. And mostly, it's a good question. Mostly, people move into the enlightened, we move into agriculture or farming when we are going on retirement. But sometimes if you have been in it, like I have been in it for 4-5 years, I sit back and tell my friends that I should have retired long ago to move into business. Yes. You
would have retired long ago?
I'm telling you.
To venture into farming?
Yes. Well, other people are doing it on small basis. If you have about 200 birds, you can manage them gradually. They grow, you import more, you augment it gradually. Before you realize you have a large farm. Rome was not built in a day.
What's your advice? If I have my money and I want to start a farm, do I be part of the day-to-day operation activities, or I should just cross my feet and anytime they call for money, I'll send money? Anytime they call for money, I'll send money.
For poultry and any other business, if you're not around, if you think you cannot be around, don't go into it.
Say again.
I'm saying that for farming in general and poultry in particular, if you are not resident and you are not fully involved in the day-to-day activities, don't venture, don't go into it. You see, the risk involved in general, the privilege and so on and so forth is so high that if you are not around, even the staff managing the birds is also a challenge. If you are not around, they can play it and downplay you. So in fact, if you want to be in agric, whether plantain farm, whether cocoa farm, and so you should be residents in there. I have lived here throughout. I go to Accra once in a while. My children, they come and visit me here. And I'm always here. By 5 o'clock, I'm around. I go around them.
5 a.m.
Yes, you can ask them. I go around them, see to it that they've opened the taps. You see, to drain the water in the tank. I see to it that they've given them feed at the right time. They are drinking at the right time. Medications, they are giving them the right medication. Not buying the medications and then leave them that, go and give it to them. I'm fully involved.
You are involved in everything.
I am fully involved
from A to Z.
Everything.
Finally.
When they lay, I am around.
I
can show you, you see, 9 o'clock production is here. 1 o'clock production is here.
Wow.
You see, block this. I record everything.
Take record of
everything. So if it's a pen is falling, I know. Then I try and ask, why is this thing going on like that? What is the condition there? Do they need medications? I check and ensure that yes, we need to get them this or that and that.
Daddy, I know even before you started this farm 5 years ago, you might have already have assets, your buildings and your other businesses. But what have you achieved from farming?
One, I told you that I wanted to encourage the youth to go into farming.
Yes.
And in fact, around here in the district, they all know what we have done here because of the employment that we're giving to the staff and the town folks and those in the district, myself. Apart from that, I've also learned a lot in the farming business.
Okay. Your closing remarks to people watching you, being it in Ghana, abroad. I have viewers all over the country, around the world who watch my show. What will be your message to them, especially Ghanaians abroad who are scared of coming to invest what do you have to tell them?
I only advise them that they shouldn't get scared in coming down to invest in Ghana in general. There's advantage in investing in Ghana. There's advantage in investing in poultry. And they shouldn't relent. They should come down and invest in it and make sure that they take part in everything that they are doing. And they won't lose anything if things are done the right way. I haven't regretted at all, and I will never regret being in agric or poultry for that matter.
I'm sort of worse. I don't know what to say. But today, I am sure that after watching this interview, if you don't repent and find a niche for yourself in farming, then I don't know what else to do. My name is Enyonam, and this has been the Ghanaian Farmer TV show. My guest, Mr. Alex Asamoah-Bontey. He, for the past 35 years of his life, worked as a chartered accountant, chartered tax consultant, deputy commissioner of Ghana Revenue Authority, and presently the CEO of Sunday's Group of Companies. He has numerous experience. He's seen it all. He's got all the cars, all the travels and everything. But today, he is so happy working as a farmer. Not the investor crossing legs, sitting behind decks, but he's involved in day-to-day. I'm even shocked at the answers he was giving me when I was asking me, what do you do to the birds? What? And he was answering everything. Most of the times, the farmers, my farm manager, when we meet my farm manager, but he's able to tell you A to Z what goes on in the farm. That is whom we called a correct businessman. Thank you very much for watching. I'm most grateful for your time. I'm sure he's ready for grooming, mentoring, advice, and everything. For my sake, I'm not sure he will charge you too much. So for now, we say bye-bye. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next week.